Good afternoon, everybody. Bronwyn Scrivens here for Warehouse Wednesday, Vice President of Industrial at JLL in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. This week, I am going to talk to you about the probably most asked question that we get as industrial real estate brokers, which is, what lease rate should I be paying for this particular space? Obviously, every single warehouse is unique and has its own specifications that make it more or less valuable for tenants depending on what their demands are. Some tenants need cranes, some tenants need yard, some tenants need big tall warehouse ceilings so they can rack up. If there is a situation, it's ultimately a supply-demand equation. And so if there's a situation where there's more supply than the demand is looking for, the lease rates go down. If there's a situation where there's way more demand for a certain type of product than there is supply, the lease rates go up. And this also qualifies for sale assets. So in the greater Edmonton region right now, when we're looking at small bay leasing, and for Alberta and for Edmonton, small bay would be 10,000 feet and under. All day long, landlords are getting $12 a square foot with some escalations. It used to be that you could get these spaces for single digits. That's not the case anymore. If you are finding, especially for a newer, nicer product like the building behind me, you're going to be paying kind of in that $12-ish range, maybe a little bit less, but still double digits if it's an older asset. As you move a little bit larger, 20,000, 30, 40,000 square feet, you're going to get a bit of an advantage on the rates. You'll get a little bit lower, still double digits in the 10 to maybe 11.50 per square foot range. This is all for multi-tenant, keep in mind. And then as you get into the bigger stuff, 50 to 100,000 square feet, for brand new product, brand new spec development, you're going to still be double digits, maybe in the $11 to $12 per square foot range. For anything that is Class B or Class C, older gen, still maybe very highly functional, but just an older product, you will be able to get rates in the single digits, $8.75 to $10.25, again, depending on the caliber of the building. Edmonton is, as I mentioned in a previous video, we have less than 1 million square feet delivering by the end of 2025, and of that, almost 70% of that is spoken for. So we're going to run into a supply situation going into 2026 where we don't have enough supply of new product for the tenant demand, which is causing these lease rates to slowly increase. We're still pretty steady in Edmonton, but they are increasing. We also are not as impacted by the geopolitical turmoil of tariffs, etc., that our Eastern Canadian and Western Canadian neighbors are experiencing. So we're a bit insulated to that in Edmonton because we're a bit more self-serving in our market. We can fabricate and we can distribute, and we have raw goods here. So great market to invest in, great market to lease in. A lot of tenants are taking note, and overall, the confidence is good. There is a lot of activity. If you're looking for anything 10, 20, 30,000 square foot, it's moving all day long. Bigger stuff, we do have some players in the market that are circling, but there's product for them, and it's at a better price point than many of the major cities across Canada. So as I did last week, I'm going to put up a chart and share it in the comments here that outlines the lease rates for different types of assets, depending on multi or single. And just to keep in mind, single tenant is a completely different animal. Essentially, you're taking the yard area that is available for that asset, for that property, and then rolling that cost back into the lease rate for the building. So depending on how much yard there is and how small the square foot of the building that is, the lease rates can be, and often are, in the very high teens, 18, 19, 20, often even into the low 20s, again, depending on the market and the site coverage. So what I would say is take a look at the chart. It'll give you a rough estimate of what's going on. But if you have a specific asset that you're looking for an idea of the value, whether you're a building owner or you're a tenant, reach out to someone from our team. We can help you. We can at least give you a rough idea of, what's fair, what's reasonable from both perspectives. And yeah, that I guess is it. At the end of the day, just remember that every building is like your child. It's very unique, has its own personality, and is valued differently as well. As a favorite child, I can say that. I'm Bronwyn Scrivens. This is Warehouse Wednesday. coming to you from, I guess I'm in Acheson right now, but from Edmonton, Alberta. And I'll see you guys next week on Warehouse Wednesday.